Hello YouTube, what is going on? This is Epic Big Bird and I am back with some more Rome 2 Total War Online commentary action to do for you all today. This is a large funds 1v1 battle. I have chosen the Arevaci. My opponent today will be commanding a Briton army. And let's go over unit composition real quick. Today I have brought with me 3 Balearic Slingers, backed up by 6 Scutari. I have opted to bring no Spearmen in this fight today, and instead decided to bring extra cavalry to hopefully sway the tide of the cavalry battle. So I have 2 noble cavalry here, 2 noble cavalry on my left flank, along with 2 Iberian cav to support each flank. We're going to go into a little bit of a fast forward here while my ally does a little bit of a maneuvering. We can look at his cavalry force over here for the time being. He has fielded today 2 veteran riders and a heroic rider here. He is backing them up with 2 levy freemen. On this flank he has 2 chariots, one here and one here. We're going to go ahead and go back into play motion now. A little bit faster actually. My opponent has also brought in with him 3 Briton slingers. He's brought in a sword band, a corps of 4 sword band, flanked on each side by 2 chosen sword band, and he also is holding 2 chosen sword band in reserve here. And that's going to do it for my opponent's army. So we are going to again go back into a little bit of a quick motion here. So the most dangerous thing that my opponent has fielded to me on the field right now are definitely his chariots. I'm going to need to be able to take them out of the fight without them getting into my infantry, because they are going to absolutely shred my infantry if I let them get into combat. So that's going to be basically my goal here, and I'm going to continue to try and shift my Iberian cav to match them. I feel like my Iberian cav are going to be a good match against his chariots, because what you really want to do is get chariots to just stop moving and get them bogged down. I feel like my Iberian cav could be good for that. They don't have very high armor, so they might get shredded on the charge, but it's a risk I'm willing to take. And here you can see I'm gonna mass my slinger fire on these chariots and get my general's cavalry in there, and they're gonna fall actually really quickly once we get cavalry and massed slinger fire on them. Over here we go ahead and accept a charge into his veteran riders with my own noble cav, and they're going to start falling very, very quickly. But however, he's going to reinforce with his 2 chosen swords on this flank. Unfortunately, we don't get a charge in on his chosen swords, but that's okay for the time being. I'm going to go ahead and start skirmishing with his own infantry, and I'm going to let his cavalry and spears come closer to my flank on this side. Over here, I go ahead and charge the rear of his chosen sword band before pulling my Iberian cav out to deal with his slingers. You can see here his generals making slow progress towards us. Over here, we go ahead and accept cavalry charges with his heroic riders. They're gonna go ahead and absolutely trounce my Iberian cav, but my noble cav should be able to hold out for a while. I'm also bringing over 2 Scutari to reinforce the fight to deal with his levy freemen. However, my opponent is bringing 2 chosen sword bands to reinforce this fight as well. He's going to charge my infantry corps, so I'm going to go ahead and match him back, counter-charge him back. My Scutari should outmatch his sword bands, and possibly even his chosen sword bands are going to have a hard time fighting Scutari spearmen, or Scutari swords, yeah. My melee attack is much higher than these chosen sword band. However, the problem that we got to worry about is his healthy set of chariots. These guys are very, very dangerous. And right now I'm kind of letting them go unchecked. Here, where my Scutari spearmen are winning, he's going to run his chariots through, and you can see once they break through his own lines, he kills about 10 men on one run right there. So that's pretty punishing. I have to go ahead and charge my general over here into this fight over here to keep my noble cav and Scutari spearmen fighting a little bit longer. Excuse me, Scutari swordsmen. But my Scutari are going to just get absolutely plowed over by his chariots here. Every run they lose more men. You can see how he just keeps kind of cyclo-charging his chariots, and that's going to cause my Scutari to rout. So in the middle, we're winning quite decisively against his own infantry. However, the problem is his chariots are more than a match for all of my infantry combined. So what I really need to happen is I need these chosen sword band to die quicker. I need my noble cav to get back in the fight as soon as possible. And ideally I need his chariots to stay occupied with my infantry for the time being. My infantry could have been used better over here in this engagement, but what I'm worried about is his chariots getting into the backs of these engagements and causing morale penalties to my men. So for the time being, I'm okay with him trouncing my Iberian, my Scutari and my Iberian cav here. There's simply not much I can do about it. I'm trying to skirmish him down, but it's just simply not having too much of an effect. And over here, we are just now routing one of his chosen sword band. One more is still left in combat, and he's broken the center now. So now my opponent holds an infantry edge. He's taking care of the skirmishers, which are a good tool against chariots. So since my center broke, I'm going to have to break off my general, take a charge into these chosen sword band, try and end them before they can reinforce the fight. Over here, his chosen sword band are having a pretty decent fight on their hands against my Scutari and noble cav, but they are winning. Now that his general's entering the presence of the area, we're going to have more problems. But over here, we do manage to finally rout his chosen sword band. Unfortunately, one of my noble cav rout with 8 men left. Those 8 men could have been very useful, but there's not much I can do about it now. I have 2 noble cav left, and my opponent has 2 chosen sword band left and a chariot. So at this stage of the battle, it's not completely over. However, it's not looking too good for me. If I can manage to pair up his chariots with some of my cavalry and end his chariots quick, I could still win this fight, but I'm gonna have to kill his general to do that. So this is gonna be a little tricky. We're both gonna take our time here. We're trying to rest our men, gain some energy points back into our men so they fight stronger. There you can see my opponent uses his inspiration abilities. I'm not sure why. Kind of a waste in my own opinion, because I'm going to be able to pull right away from him, wait till they expire, and then I'm going to go ahead and be able to engage on my own terms with my own abilities. So you can see here my opponent's resisting an engagement with his chariots, which is a smart decision. So I'm going to go ahead and take a frenzied charge into his infantry line and hopefully break his infantry line, because if I get rid of his sword units, his chariots won't stand a chance against my cavalry. Sorry about the lag here, guys. I'm running my Fraps is on full length recording now to try and increase the video quality for you guys, but you can see at the cost of a little bit of lag there, so sorry about that. Here we are getting success, a little bit of success against his chosen sword bands, but there he pops, I believe, Frenzy, and that's going to stabilize their morale for a little bit longer. And there you can see my morale starts to waver with only 5 cavalry left, 12 over here. It's simply not going to be enough in this fight. So that was a really good game to my opponent. I really enjoyed it, thought it was really close. And what I think I could have done better in that fight was I should have used my heavy cavalry to tie down his own chariots. If I would have done that, I think the end of the battle would have been much different. I think we could have been able to beat out his inferior swords. But you can see here I allowed his chariots to get 185 kills. So that's really what dragged down my Arevaci army in this battle. So thank you guys so much for checking out my video. Hope you guys learned something tactical. This has been Epic Big Bird signing off.